Yoga and karmic bondage. Each action gives way to another action. This is the nature of karma. As yoga is action, it attracts more karma. Whether highly spiritual or miserable, all worldly beings are caught in the karmic cycle of cause and effect. Though in both examples, the weight of karmic bondage varies from lowest to highest degree, even arihant, human beings in the supreme state, being empirical souls, are not free of yoga. Only the siddhs are destitute of all endeavor and hence destitute of yoga, for they have no activity of speech, body, and mind. The state of the siddh is the ultimate destination, the ultimate purpose of life's journey, of all the spiritual quests, to know thyself, and through that, to know the universe in its entirety. This is the state each seeker, knowingly or unknowingly, aims for. Pradesh are the space, points occupied by the soul's actions, karmas. Each karma generates vibration into the previously present karmic particles in these space points, and in the process, some karma gets shed and the new one gets bound to the soul. In this way, asarv, inflow of karma, and yoga are similar. No yoga means no action, which eventually means no asarv. Hence, the siddhs are free from even the tiniest of asarv as they attain the state of no karma through their quest to know the knower. As there are innumerable manifestations of Jeev in the form of different species, which vary from one-sensed to five-sensed being, yoga is an inevitable trait of each. However, the instruments to perform yoga vary from the least developed, as in one-sensed, to the most developed, as in humans. For example, despite being, a tree cannot perform karmas through its speech and physical actions. It can merely use its subtler faculty that can create cause and endure effects, somewhat similar to the mind. Thus, yoga prepares the ground for empirical bondage in the presence of other conditions, and consequently for the perpetuation of worldly career. Most of the time, the subtle to gross actions, keeping the being's view distorted, and through that keep it bound in an incessant cycle of cause and effect. Or, in rare cases, they motivate one to access the real nature of the self and break the shackles of the same. Yoga leads to asrava, the inflow of karmic matter, which in turn gives way to bandh, bondage, the sticking process of the karmic matter around the soul. Intense yoga leads to intense asarva. Good deeds lead to lighter karmic matter, and the bad deeds lead to the opposite. Further, it is beautiful to know that only performing karma blankly is not enough. One's intention, good, bad, or medium, and intensity, sharp, light, or mixed, also matter, which decides the period for which the particular karma is bound. When ripened, what kind of fruit it will give, how many space points will it cover, etc. Thus, it leads to 4 classifications of bondage. Type bondage, Prakriti bandh. Space bondage, Pradesh bandh. Duration bondage, Sthiti bandh. And lastly, intensity of fruition bondage, Anubhag Bandh. There are infinite material particles roaming around freely in space. However, they can be transformed into karmic particles. The vibratory activity of the soul causes them to transform. This has been assigned as type bondage. Hence, the karma itself decides Prakriti Bandh. For example, a person steals something out of sheer helplessness under compelling circumstances. Otherwise, he is honest and ethical. We observe that the type of karma he binds would be lighter in nature. This also depicts the accuracy of the cosmos. As in Jain philosophy, karma is nothing but natural laws. Space is inevitably occupied by something or the other. In the context of the space points occupied by the soul, it is always karmic particles. These karmic particles share a specific relationship with the space points around that specific soul. They get attracted to it through the same agency of yoga, and this process is called space bondage. When the space points of the soul are absolutely free of karma, it becomes the supreme soul, Paramatma. If one has sown the seeds of a particular tree, one gets the fruits of the same, according to its time of fruition. Similarly, each seed has its own time of giving fruits, which differs from others. The process of the seed transforming in the tree gets executed under certain laws. Likewise, the incessant continuation of the karmic particles in association with the self up to a certain period of time is called duration bondage, Sthiti Bandh. At the time of performing a specific action, each being has some intensity of thoughts, whether mild or strong. This intensity also contributes to deciding the quality of the fruit. The effect-producing potency with which the karmic particles become impregnated is known as intensity of fruition bondage, Anubhag Bandh. Now, the intensity of sowing the seed matters, as well as how one takes care of the plant by watering it at appropriate times, the weather conditions, etc. Some trees give fruits only once in their lifetime, and some for many consecutive years. Beautifully, examples of the laws of the universe can be easily observed in our surroundings, be it the theory of karma or any other. Yoga and Kashai, passions. Life of each being goes on surrounded by karma at all times. One can never be without karma, which in turn is supported and induced by the four soul-soiling emotions, namely Krodh, anger, Man, pride, Maya, delusion, and Lobh, greed. Together they keep the soul's journey bound in life, death, and rebirth. Sthiti Bandh and Anubhag Bandh are caused by these four emotions, which are responsible for the defiled state of existence. At the same time, karma can be performed by the soul in a relatively pure state, which is without kashai. This results in the destruction of soul-soiling emotions, and the absence of these four emotions lead to the cessation of yoga, as a result of which no new karma is bound. For example, sometimes one gets lost in doing the things one loves the most, so much so that one not only loses track of time, but also enters a dimension where one is not expecting anything in return. In these moments, one is beyond these kashai and finds shelter in oneself. In the Bhagavad Gita, this type of karma is known as Nishkam karma, which means selfless or desireless action. This type of karma stops the inflow, and what happens next is the shedding of the accumulated karma. Often, with age or due to some other circumstances in life, most of us start the journey towards self-introspection, which takes us within to control unnecessary emotions. We also start contemplating the real purpose of life and the role of self-improvement. Amongst us, a few people work in the direction to achieve their dreams and through that to serve the society. Immersing oneself in a specific dream that fills one with positivity tells one that one is meant to accomplish this in one's life, where there is no expectation but an innate satisfaction of being closer to the self. In these moments, a person attains the state of Nishkam karma, a state of action without passion, which is a matter of self-achievement. This supports that yoga may exist with or without passions in the life of an individual. This way, we see that yoga connects us to a higher purpose that includes each moment of our lives. The elaborate study of which takes us to the detailing of karma, how they are bound, how one can stop their inflow, how one can shed them to move ahead towards the pinnacle of the spiritual ladder known as liberation.